Today on the news and why it matters, the impeachment trial in the Senate has begun, and it's not fair. We'll get into all of that. Also, Hillary Clinton attacks Bernie and his supporters. The claws are out. We've got a lot coming up, and it starts right now. Welcome to the news and why it matters. I am Sarah Gonzalez, today joined once again by Mr. Glenn Beck himself. I feel like we need people applauding whenever you're actually on the show. I think we should. We should probably stand.
Well, that's okay. If you insist.
Jason Buttrell, chief researcher of the Glenn Beck program. No, that's too much. And the Blaze.com's own Aaron Cullen back in the house.
Sharp-dressed man. Sharp for living.
Yeah, you can barely tell us apart at this point.
Right? Mine is a little different shade in color, but other than that, we're twins.
Yours is just the tie, so it almost just looks like you spilled mustard from a hot dog.
No, mine started out as a sweater, and then I got fat.
We got a lot to get into. First, we want to thank our sponsor, Keeps. And by the way, happy new hair to you guys who have discovered Keeps hair loss treatment.
You haven't discovered that.
Everyone looks at me every time.
It makes it awkward.
How do you know? How can you tell?
You could rub it on your head. I mean, wow.
I might need injections at this point. It's like.
So Keeps, Jason, just so you know, 66% of men will experience hair regrowth with Keeps. It's not even just keeping the hair that you have. A large percentage of the people
I don't believe that.
They do. They regrow their hair.
What am I doing?
They can't lie about that.
No,
so
they can't.
It's not like they're CNN.
Right, exactly. They're our
get in
sponsor.
trouble.
They're
You know what I
our
mean?
sponsor. So if you are, I don't know, like
try
Jason.
some.
You've got a full head of hair.
Oh, no, sweetheart. It's no.
Really?
Oh, my gosh. I used to have hair.
Shut up. You say that to me.
Well,
In my
you
presence.
look like, you look like you got out of a prison camp. Where they were just making you eat hair soup.
Oh, God. So, okay, I know, I get it. It's awkward to talk about hair loss, and you men never go to the doctor anyway. You don't go to the doctor for anything, ever. You don't have to go to the doctor with Keeps. You can do it from your couch. If you're a lazy couch potato, you can still do it. You answer a few questions, you take a few pictures of your hair. Yeah, Jason, I'm looking at you. And a licensed doctor will review your information and recommend the right treatment, and it's shipped discreetly to your door. No reason not to try it. You can go to keeps.com/Y. That is KEEPS.com/Y. You can get 50% off your first order. That is 50%, 50%. Jason, go to keeps.com/Y.
Here's how you remember the address. Keeps. They keep all of their fingers to themselves. You go to the doctor, they don't do that. I don't like it.
Love that image. Love that mental image there.
Keep their fingers to themselves.
Thank you. So the Senate impeachment trial has officially begun.
Hill, hasn't
It's going to be a hell of a show today. McConnell, of course, Mitch McConnell
It's really
released.
great when you own the dump, because then you just don't care. Sorry, go ahead.
Mitch McConnell released the Republicans' resolution outlining the schedule and rules for the impeachment proceedings. And of course, Democrats met that with, you guys are trying to cover up the truth. You're engaged in a cover-up. I can't believe you.
Okay, in between shows today, I saw something, and you guys have to, otherwise I may go insane, more insane than I already am.
No.
I saw Schiff actually stand there and say, we couldn't go and take these things to court. Please tell me this isn't what he meant. We couldn't take these things to court because he was quickly stealing the next election. Did he actually say that? And that's contact. That's what he meant.
That's right.
That's insane. How did heads not pop with people who were listening to that?
Yeah.
Couldn't have remained silent.
Well, and Aaron was on it today. He was watching all of the coverage. Aaron drew the short straw to watch the impeachment coverage. But I mean, was that the only lie that Schiff said? Because I was reading the coverage, and what I read, he was just throwing out lies left and right.
Every lie or mischaracterization that you heard all through those House hearings, it just got regurgitated because they give them like 2 hours. I mean, he can go on and on and on. So everything you're hearing right now so far is nothing different than what you've heard before. The same accusations, the same mischaracterizations of the phone call and of what Trump may have been doing with the aide or with Zelensky. So right now we haven't gotten anywhere. We're just hearing the same stuff.
Yeah. So the Republicans have given the next step, the window of 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. on Wednesday morning, filing initial motions, responses to those motions by Democrats' team, and then will be the opening arguments from each side. How do you feel about Trump's team that he has behind him, Glenn?
I like it. I mean, I would make one addition. I would, if Ted Bundy was still alive, I would put him on my team. And then I'd say, don't say anything, Ted. Just sit there. So he sits there. And then right before they have to vote, everybody might notice that's the day Ted Bundy's not there. And then I stand up right before the vote and I'm like, hey, that we're missing a member of our team. I don't know where he is, but we all know where our children are. You know what? I'll call him and make sure that he's not doing anything. You know what? We can either vote now or I'll call. So, you know what? Why don't you cast your vote and then come see me? That's what I would do. So I think he's only missing a serial killer.
Make sure you send that to them so they can. Yeah. It's not too late.
No, Charlie Manson is still alive.
Jason.
I was really impressed today. You could definitely tell the difference between guys that are trained at doing this versus people like Adam Schiff that are not really.
What is Adam Schiff trained in exactly?
That's a very, very good question.
Creepy eye stares.
Creepy eye stares.
He has that down.
He has it down. He's a professional. They pay him to do that.
It was funny. It almost felt like, even though this is not the time yet, and I saw a lot of people on Twitter getting this mixed up, but they were like, why aren't they, presenting evidence to back up some of these things they're saying? Like, it's not time to do that yet.
Why are people talking? Why is Trump not in jail yet?
Exactly. That's how it was.
Good God, read something. The Constitution's like 8 pages. Can't you read that?
But they didn't even really have to do what they were supposed to do, which was talk about just these resolutions. They just kind of went all out assault on how ridiculous a lot of this is. If you just watch Succolo and what's this guy's name again? Ciparoni or something like that. Whatever.
Ciparone.
Something like that. He completely demolished the obstruction article. Like, just completely demolished it.
We're going to play this. We'll play this audio on radio tomorrow. It's pretty good.
Yeah, and what you're going to what you're going to see is that Democrats are going to be lashing out. They're going to be desperate because they know that Republicans have the control. They have the votes. McConnell doesn't have to really reach to do anything. He's going to present his resolutions, he's going to present his amendments, and they're going to get passed because they're reasonable and because they have the votes. And so everything that the Democrats are going to do is going to be to try to distract from the fact that they messed up their chance in the House and now they don't like how the Senate's going to do things.
It's really amazing how they have spun this whole thing. I listened to the New York Times Daily today, which you'll pray for death.
Really.
And
when I realized that you really secretly didn't like me?
When I said you should watch that every day.
You told me to listen to it every day, and I started
you'll
listening to it,
understand where they're coming from, but it is like Toontown. And they were talking about a couple of things today, how these rules, they just passed them out last night. They've been in effect since 1999. They made a couple of tweaks. I mean, get somebody to do a yellow highlighter on the lines that they changed. It's not that big of a deal. It's crazy how they're spinning that. And then I actually heard them say, it wasn't like this with Bill Clinton. It wasn't like this. A few a few Republicans peeled off and voted with the other party. Well, wait. You were on the defense end, and when you were on the defense end, you went in lockstep. And the Republicans are in lockstep, just like you were when you were on the defense, and they're on the defense now. And, well, that's weird because a few Democrats have peeled off and joined the Republicans this time. It's exactly the same, except they're not recognizing it. At least, I should say, the numbers are very close to the same. The attitude is very close to the same, except we've changed as a culture. We've gotten worse. But the rules are the same. The only thing that's not the same is the way that it was handled in the House. And that was worse.
And the amazing thing is how often Trump's lawyers and his team can quote Adam Schiff or Jerry Nadler, these people on things they said back in 1999 or in previous Senate trials for judicial things. They can quote them saying the exact opposite thing that they're saying now, and it just kind of undercuts the whole thing. And it's like, how can you, with a straight face, tell that lie knowing that you're on video saying the same thing opposite before.
'Cause it's totally different this time.
Yeah.
It's a Republican that is being impeached.
Well, and to your point, the big, I think, topic that they are kind of flip-flopping on is whether or not to consider and debate under the impeachment rules any motion to subpoena witnesses and documents, right? And that's where we're really seeing Chuck Schumer back in, whenever it was, saying, well, I don't know that we don't really need to hear from the witnesses. We don't need to do that. We can just go ahead and proceed, along. So that's where they're seeing just kind of this flip-flop with the Democrats, that all of a sudden what was good for the goose then is not good for the gander now.
But they don't put they did not put those people on the floor of the Senate to, raise your right. You remember how that happened? What they did was they took them all in and took subpoenas. They brought them in, and then they took a deposition, and they filmed it. And then you could play little clips, if it was relevant, on the floor of the Senate. Well, they've already done all that stuff.
Yeah.
They've already done that. The only ones who haven't had a chance to have their voice heard is anyone in defense of the president.
And White House counsel was really very good about pointing that out today. They're like, and I'm actually on the fence before. I was kind of like, I want them to call witnesses so we can finally get to the truth and so all this can out. I don't think I am anymore.
McConnell was very persive on that in terms of saying, we're not going to do the House's work for them.
No, why should
we don't
they?
investigate. That's not our job.
There was one story White House counsel was talking about where I can't remember the name of the person that they subpoenaed, but they subpoenaed someone.
It's the deputy national security advisor. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, so they subpoenaed him. He got a lawyer. His lawyer was like, okay, fine, we'll answer the subpoena. And then finally, when the House found out, Adam Schiff found out that he was going to go, they said, okay, never mind, we take back our subpoena. They're like, wait a minute, is there something you need from him or not? Do you have a case or not? They kept pointing out, look, we're ready to go today. Like we are ready to defend our client today. Are you ready to present your case? And they were like, no, they weren't ready. But they keep telling everyone that they have overwhelming evidence, but they need to gather more evidence so it's more compelling and they're not actually ready to defend themselves or to make their case today. It's total bullcrap.
Yeah. Glenn, do you think that this helps Joe Biden? Because you've got Bernie Sanders, he just had to cancel a campaign event. Elizabeth Warren, obviously they have to be here, on Capitol Hill right before the Iowa caucus. Do you think that's going to help Joe Biden or hurt the other candidates, or do you think everyone already knows what they're going to do anyway?
Joe Biden has dinner at like 1:30 in the afternoon. He's tucked into bed by 3. No. I think it does actually allow him to stay out, but all of these people, they are so concerned about the planet. We only have 10 years to live. They're all flying back and forth to Iowa every day anyway.
Yeah. All right. Hillary Clinton attacks Bernie Sanders. She says no one likes him or his supporters. We'll get into that when we come back.
What are you thinking? You're going into Milwaukee and he could have a sizable thing, and you're going to...
Before we get back into the program, we would like to thank our sponsor, My Patriot Supply. And let me just tell you, you don't have to be a prepper like this guy right here in order to take advantage of My Patriot Supply's offer.
I want you to listen to me right now. I'm not a prepper. I have no food, I have no bullets, I have no guns at my place. None.
What happened to all your guns? I thought you had a bunch.
Fishing accident.
Oh, gosh, that's a bummer. I hear people run into that a lot.
All of it. Food, everything, down at the bottom of the lake, and I can't get it.
But in all seriousness, having a couple weeks of emergency food is, you got to have that at least. I know you have way more than that, but
I did.
You did until the fishing.
And then I sent my ex-wife to go look for it, and she's now at the bottom of the lake, and I don't know how that happened. I don't know what happens to me at this time. This is not good. It's not good.
So My Patriot Supply is who you can trust to get you that emergency food kit just in case. Right? You don't know when some crazy disaster is going to happen and you're going to have to either, pack up and leave. Maybe there's a fire. You people in California, you'd know that you don't know when that's going to happen. It just happens. You're not going to know. So the point is that you have to prepare yourself before this natural event or stock market crash or whatever actually happens. So My Patriot Supply, right now, you can get breakfast, lunch, and dinner. It lasts up to 25 years in storage, and they ship them fast and discreet. I like that it says discreetly to your door.
You don't want people to know that you're going to have a...
Because then they'll all come to your house.
Everyone always says, well, I know whose house I'm going to if things get tough. And I'm like, I have bullets.
You're right. See, so if you have your gun.
50 caliber, but I don't have it anymore.
Had.
Darn it.
Darn it.
2-day delivery, so you got to go to preparewiththeblaze.com. Guess what? We also got you 45% off of the 2-week food supply.
Wow.
45% off. All you have to do is go to preparewiththeblaze.com. You're going to thank us later whenever that disaster strikes and you are prepared. That is preparewiththeblaze.com.
There won't be any cell service to call us to say, but we'll take your thank you now. You're welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, Hillary Clinton, of course, 2-time failed Democrat candidate. Hillary Clinton attacked
Come on, she's
Bernie
more
Sanders.
than a 2-time loser.
Is she?
I mean, in other ways, sure, yes.
She was speaking with the Hollywood Reporter about her new, I don't know, Hulu series, documentary. I don't know what you would call it, but you probably can't pay me to watch it. It's going to be called Hillary, and it is set to premiere at Sundance. The Hollywood Reporter asked Hillary Clinton, in the documentary, you're brutally honest on Sanders. He was in Congress for years. He had one senator support him. Nobody likes him. Nobody wants to work with him. He got nothing done. He was a career politician. It's all just baloney, and I feel so bad that people got sucked into it. Does that assessment still hold? Clinton said, yes, it does. She said, it's not only him, it's the culture around him. It's his leadership team. It's his prominent supporters. It's his online Bernie bros and their relentless attacks on lots of his competitors, particularly the women. And I really hope people are paying attention to that because it should be worrisome that he has permitted this culture. Not only permitted, he seems to be really very much supporting it.
Wait a minute. So he has relentless attacks on his competitors from Hillary Clinton.
Yeah.
And isn't good with women. He'd be
particularly
the women, which she's always been great. Any woman who ever has had a claim of anything, she's been right there to comfort.
She's very supportive.
Practically Florence frickin' Nightingale. I can't take these people anymore. I just can't.
So I know I saw I like Bernie, hashtag I like Bernie trending all over Twitter after nobody likes him was trending. The Bernie bros, they are very mad. First they had Elizabeth Warren, who accused him of saying that a woman could not become president and then accused him of being a liar. Now you've got Hillary Clinton saying nobody likes him.
What do you think the Bernie bros are going to do when they get to Milwaukee? They were really smoked last time. Now they come in again. If he's doing really well and the Democrats destroy him, you are going to, I wouldn't be around Milwaukee. I wouldn't be around Milwaukee this summer.
I think it's interesting, she says, the people that are surrounding him, because there's been a lot of reporting lately on some of these people that are surrounding him, that the campaign is, I don't know, they're not distancing them from, the two ground organizers from the campaign.
They still have their job.
They still have their job. They're talking like, oh my gosh, they're radicals, but they're just small-time radicals. No, the entire campaign is radicals. I mean, the guy running his campaign was a guy that was involved with a fundraiser for the Holy Land Foundation.
Right.
For crying out loud.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
the one of the women was left his campaign, went over to Europe, and was training people like Arab Spring training, and then she comes back.
Podemos in Spain and Jeremy Corbyn Labour Party, they train them how to do street activism, is what they said. Oh, and we're not even mentioning the lady that went to Iran to speak for Occupy Wall Street.
Right.
I mean, you can't make this crap up. Radicals are everywhere in his campaign.
And they're not distancing themselves because there's not really a consequence. He knows that if he wins Warren's people, if he gets her out of the race, then he has enough core support that he can win the nomination. He doesn't really have to go out of his way to say, oh, these people don't represent what I believe. People know what he's about, and the people that vote for him like that, and so he's going to just keep pushing with that.
And, they were promised a messiah with Barack Obama, but you notice Barack Obama's nobody's hero now. He's nobody's hero because he wasn't radical enough. He didn't do it. He got in and kept the same Clinton people, et cetera, around him, and he did a lot of stuff. From our perspective, he did a lot of damage. For them, that wasn't enough. Bernie is the kind of guy, he's not going to take the Clinton team around him. He won't take the DNC team around him. He'll chart his course. Whether he can get it done or not is another story, but he'll chart his course. He means it.
Which is why I think you can see these attacks escalating on him because they see his momentum and they're really trying. It's going to keep going as long as his poll numbers
If he's the nominee, they've destroyed any chance of the Democratic Party coming back.
Well, Jason, you mentioned the staffers of Bernie's who have kind of been in some hot water lately. Another video surfaced of South Carolina, this time South Carolina field organizer Martin Weissgerber. And here he is, just, you know, it's an undercover video, just kind of talking about starting a revolution if Bernie loses. Watch.
Knock on wood. If Bernie was to lose, I would like to see yellow vest protests like here, stateside.
I'm already on Twitter following numerous groups around the country that are ready to organize yellow vest protests.
Okay.
I mean, I'm ready.
Let me know.
I'm ready to start tearing bricks up and start fighting.
Good.
I'm no cop, bro. I'll straight up get arms. I want to learn how to shoot and go train. I'm ready for the revolution, bro.
All right.
I'm telling you.
Good stuff.
If you're in Texas,
Guillotine the rich.
Hell yeah. The guillotine's very humane too. Yeah, it's humane. It's humane.
It's more humane than the cool.
I mean, that's debatable.
So what's amazing is, remember, it was a low-level volunteer in that same role that went to Virginia and tried to shoot every member of Congress that was a Republican. For a decade almost, the media was looking for that mad shooter and those people that are inspiring people to go kill people. Here you have a guy who had somebody on his staff already that tried to shoot half the members of Congress and did, and then you have videotape from Project Veritas confirming those kinds of people are saying those kinds of things and they're not getting fired. What else do you need? What else do you need?
Jason, at what point, like Glenn said, at what point are you like, okay, this isn't a coincidence?
No, it's not a coincidence. Like we just said, their entire campaign is infiltrated with, not infiltrated, that's just who they are.
That's who they are.
That's who they are.
Job requirement.
So yeah, like normally from O'Keefe's stuff, I look at it and I'm like, okay, so you got the second janitor on the night shift to say something weird. You know what I mean? But this I totally think is legit in terms of its relevance, because this is all who they are.
And this is who tried to kill the Republican congressman. We've already had that shooting. Can you imagine if we were here and somebody was an intern here and, you know, they were joking about stuff like that, and then they left and they tried to shoot and kill all the Democrats in Congress. Forget about what the media would have done. What would we have done? We would feel so horrified by that if anybody ever even joked about that, everyone would come down on a bag of bricks. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Everyone here would go, don't even joke about that. That's not funny. Yeah. At best, they're joking about it. They didn't take that killing seriously, that shooting seriously? Really?
Yeah.
And the people that joke or just talk about this so freely, like I'm going to arm myself. You start talking about getting an AK-47 at another point. These guys, like, and both the left and the right, the ones that talk like that are a bunch of posers. Yeah. Give me a break. You're not.
You will be. Look, you want to do that? Really? Come to Texas. You'll be still going, while somebody in Texas who knows how to use a gun will shoot you in the head.
Aaron, last word. He also later in the video talks about gulags and sending Republicans to re-education camps.
Yeah, that's the second person we've heard talk about the gulags. And it's funny because we're not going to hear the media talk about that because we're just going to get that harmless Bernie Sanders, oh, he's just an old guy who doesn't care. But they don't talk about what this dark underneath, these people that are supporting him, we're not going to take it seriously. But at some point, if you keep hearing it and keep hearing it, it would be a scandal if somebody that was a Republican had a staffer that said that, and we're not going to hear about it.
I met a woman, and today, she was just in the studio, and she was in my office, and she said, you changed my life. Your chalkboard changed my life. She said, I used to be a hardcore leftist in Boston and New York, and she said, I thought I was. She said, I didn't like all the joking, which I thought was joking, all the rhetoric that was going on around me. And she said, and I finally just kind of fell out, but I consider myself on the left. Then I saw your chalkboard and I saw the names of Bill Ayers and Bernadine Dorn and all the people that said they were going to do this, and I dismissed. She said, I've never forgiven myself for dismissing. People cannot dismiss what they think is insane or jokes because they're serious.
All right, we'll be back.
We sucked all the fun out of it.
Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez says billionaires are just like lazy slave owners and stuff. Coming up next on Overtime. Miss it.